Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you that this is your first time, welcome. My name is Kate and this is my channel, so I've been thinking. For those of you who have already been watching me before, first of all, thank you again for your patience. And also, wow, hi, I'm back already within a week. This is crazy. And yeah, so let's get into it. So today what my video is going to be about is actually kind of what I consider like the secondary, I guess, series or whatever. I don't really want to use terms like that yet just because I have so few videos, but it might someday turn into a series, who knows. But so the main type of content on my channel has always been like what I consider like the societal norm stuff that doesn't really get talked about. And the thing is that like I love making those videos, and that's obviously like why I started this channel in the first place. Sorry, I'm laughing because you can see my dog Astraea, her tail in the background. For those of you who saw my last video, Astraea has decided she wants to make an appearance in these videos, whether I let her or not. So if you guys see her little black head and tail bobbing around, that's her. She's my little black lab puppy, and she's very confused on what I'm doing with this stuff. But anyway, so that has kind of been like my main content for the most part. But there was a secondary type of videos that I had always had an idea to make, and I hadn't really done more than the one video on it, and not because I didn't want to, it just didn't like, I didn't really ever seem to find the time to do it. However, I've been like super invested in my career at this new job and learning all types of new things. So it's really made me like more hyper aware of that kind of mindset. So today, that's what this video is about. This is my other type of videos called Thoughts of a Massage Therapist. That's what I do for a living. And today what I'm going to be talking about are kind of some things that I've noticed monetarily and benefit-wise that people really don't know about us in this industry. I don't think it's that people don't care. I think it's just that no one talks about it, and like no one really, I don't know, like people act very weird about money in my industry. So kind of like getting an idea of what this is really like is kind of my overall hope for this video, just so that maybe some of you will be like, oh, okay, like I didn't know that, that's good to know. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So first of all, sorry, I keep saying first of all, second of all, third of all, you guys know at this point. So obviously you guys know I don't edit my videos, sorry. So I have some rather old-fashioned ways of giving you guys a little bit of visual today. Don't laugh at me. Hopefully it helps a little bit. So anyway, number one, we are a commission-based industry. The funny part about this is I am actually a little astounded how many people don't know this. You would think that it would be something that people would kind of figure out. I mean, if you think about it, there's like a rate of how much you pay for a massage. And I would assume people would realize like we don't get paid if you don't come in, but for some reason that like never clicks for a lot of people. And the reason why this is like literally my number one thing that I want you guys to understand is that we have this issue in my industry, and it happens in all like appointment-based type of services. We call it a no call, no show. It's exactly what it sounds like. You guys make the appointment, and for one reason or another, you guys just literally disappear and we can't get a hold of you. There's no reason for what happened. Those ones are obviously the most frustrating because like you have now taken a spot on our schedule that someone else who really needed to come in and was like gonna pay could actually take, and like we can't do anything with it because we don't know. Are you coming in? Are you not? Are you stuck in traffic? Did you end up in an accident? Like what happened? So that kind of stuff it happens a lot, and the reason why it's important is that we don't make any money if you guys aren't there. We do not get paid an hourly rate no matter what. Like every once in a while you'll work for somebody who does have enough, like I guess I would call it, they have enough revenue that they can afford to give us an hourly rate too, but usually the hourly rate is much, much, much less than what we normally would make off of a session. So it's nice and it's really helpful when you get it, but it's very rare, especially like as an employee. Now, if you work for yourself, like if you are like actually owning your own practice and it's just you, yeah, you're even more screwed because you literally don't make anything if clients don't come in. Like we're a service-based industry. If we don't perform a service, we don't get paid. And a lot of people don't seem to get that. They like just don't show up and then they're like, whatever. Some places will obviously charge, you know, a cancellation fee everywhere. everywhere has a 24-hour cancellation policy. So claiming you don't know about it, I'm sorry, is bullshit, because literally even doctors have it. Like, you guys know what this is, and this isn't aimed at you guys. This is just a general like frustration. People know about this policy. It is not a new policy. It's not a new concept. It's been stated everywhere you've ever gone. Dentist, doctor, going and getting like your eyebrows done, going and getting your nails done, getting a massage. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you guys know that this policy is a thing, and the reason why, it's for your benefit as well as ours. That way we know, like, are you coming in or not? And also, you know, that way you guys also don't get charged. Like, if you have something legit that came up, like you have a scheduling conflict, which does happen. Obviously, I live in Utah. People have got a lot of kid stuff that comes up, and they totally forget. They schedule something and they're like, I'm so sorry, my kid has a game, or there's some kind of parent-teacher conference I didn't know about, like I can't come in now. That's valid, but like they have to let us know as soon as they find out, because if they just try to claim that was their reason and it's something that's been on their books forever and they used their phone in front of us to make the appointment and like their schedule's right there, it's a little frustrating when that happens. But yeah, so just remember, you guys don't come in, we don't get paid. Long story short on that one. Sorry, I got a little rambly on that one because it's very frustrating when that happens. So moving on to number 2, we don't have PTO, and we don't have any paid holidays. Oh, and no sick leave ever. So let's start with like the most basic one. Sick leave, yeah, doesn't exist. There are places now, like cities in general, that have made it a law for companies of a certain size that they have to have revenue for their employees to have sick leave. Like when I lived in Portland, I actually worked for a company as a massage therapist. I worked at a chiropractic office who they did have paid sick leave, which was great because I got like horrendously sick at one point when I was there, and like normally, shit out of luck, you don't have any money, but they were able to pay me what my rate would have been for an hour session, which really helped out because then I was like, great, like I don't have to panic about not having money. But in general, you don't have any. It's just not a thing. And just so you guys know, most of the things I'm talking about are like employee-based situations. Like some of this stuff obviously extends. Most massage therapists do work as an independent contractor where you will essentially like rent a room or a space from someone who already has like an established business, and like they'll give you services where they'll like help you with scheduling, or like they'll help you out with like setting up appointments and stuff like that, which I literally just realized is the same thing. You guys know what I mean? Or excuse me, I was trying to say help you out with marketing, not scheduling, my bad. And then there are just places where like you literally just rent a room. You are essentially your independent own business. You're essentially a sole proprietor. You own your own business. You do your own thing. You just don't like technically have rights to the area that you're using. Regardless, in those cases, yeah, you're definitely shit out of luck because like you're not gonna have that. Same thing with PTO. Again, it's just not something that's usually offered. Again, every once in a while you work for someone who they'll give it to you. I'll be honest with you, I have had one job in my whole career that had PTO that we were able to earn and save up, and you know, the normal way you get PTO. Same thing, it's the straight across rate for whatever your hourly session would be. Other than that, not really a thing. Which, I mean, it is what it is, but like this kind of, I feel like whenever I read about those things about like, oh, millennials never take vacations, it's like, well, we literally can't. Like, we can't afford to. In my industry, literally can't afford to. Like, I don't even have the option, and like that happens for people who like work in coffee shops and as waitresses and things like that. There's a lot of industries that actually don't have PTO. So keep that in mind. The other thing too, what I was talking about with paid holidays. So this is one that I hadn't really thought about because it is what it is. Until I worked for a chiropractor when I was living in Portland. It was so frustrating because like in every other part the job was great. You know, it was a really small business, so you know, usually those are really tight knit and really great. But the problem is that come Christmas time, he wanted to shut down the entire office for 2 whole weeks. At that time, that was literally half of my income. I was like, what? I was like, can I still come in and just work on people, like just schedule people and you won't be there? He's like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, like, just because you want to shut down the company, like, that's not fair that I literally get screwed. I was in a good place, though, in regards to that. I was fortunate enough that the person I worked for, he did, like I was mentioning before, have enough revenue that he was able to essentially give me an advance for what I would have made over that 2-week period. But it still was kind of crazy because I was like, I'm kind of at the mercy of this person. And that's like one example, but the main example I'm talking about is like, my fiance, he's a diesel mechanic. So like, even if he's not working on a holiday, he still gets paid for the holiday and he gets extra pay for it. And I'm like, I hate you because like, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't ever get that. But yeah, like we don't get anything. There was also like, I didn't obviously write it down, kind of ran out of space and honestly didn't remember it until right now. The other thing that I actually had happen when I was in Portland, you know, I worked there the longest in my career, so sorry for constant references that way. But when we had all the snow that hit back in 2016, 2017, which for Portland is super, super rare. Like Portland doesn't usually get snow, so it was crazy that it was even happening. Yeah, they shut down the offices because of the snow, and I was kind of frustrated because I was like, you know, are we gonna basically get like hazardous weather pay or like, you know, whatever it's called? And they were like, no, sorry guys, like we're not able to pay you if like we don't have clients coming in either, because I always worked for chiropractors or in massage clinics, so like I was always working somewhere that was client service based. So they were like, we can't pay you anything for something like that, versus other places usually have some kind of stipulation that at a certain point they'll like start I guess like, I don't know if it's refunding or, you know, dividending, or well, I don't even know what the word is. I'm just guessing at words right now. But you know, they would have something in place to take care of people's income in those situations, but not a thing in my industry. So anyway, yeah, that's one that a lot of people don't actually know about. So moving on, number 3, health insurance and other benefits are rarely offered by employers in this industry. Sorry, I was actually trying to read my handwriting upside down and backwards. But yeah, so it's very rarely offered. It has in more recent years become more of a thing. Most massage therapists from the earlier generations, yeah, you were kind of screwed. If you needed health insurance, you had to figure out a way, usually through like your spouse's work or like just winging it and like trying to figure out how to afford it, and usually work multiple jobs just to cover the fees. So yeah, so most places do not offer health insurance, especially like more like places like Massage Envy and places like that. They don't offer you benefits. They just don't. Like the Massage Envies of the massage world are like the McDonald's of the rest of the world to people, which is ironic because I'm pretty sure they get benefits at McDonald's. Like I think they get more benefits than we would there. I've only ever worked for a couple of places that offered health insurance, usually because it's a small business that like, it's ironic, like the small businesses were usually the ones who would like come up with a way to afford that kind of stuff for us. The bigger businesses, like the franchises and things like that, they did not. So I was always really surprised by that. But yeah, like where I work right now, they've been working super hard to get us health insurance. But they're a smaller company. Like they're compared to other companies, they're smaller. They're not like super tiny, one office, like, you know, only a handful of employees type of industry anymore. Like they've been, or excuse me, company. But they've been doing really good, but they just barely in this last year have been able to get things together to get us health insurance. And they've been trying really hard, but they're like maybe one of 3 I've ever worked for who have tried. So yeah, not really a thing. It's really frustrating because like when I was in Portland, I was fortunate enough, like, when I first moved out there, I was fresh out of foster care, so I had a lot more, like, statewide amenities offered to me, health insurance-wise and such, so I was pretty fortunate that I was able to have that kind of health insurance there. Here, it's been a lot harder for me. Utah doesn't have the same sort of setup, state-wise, that I was used to living in Oregon, so it's been a lot harder to figure it out, but I've been slowly getting there, but yeah, in general, not usually a thing. This one makes me laugh. Like I was laughing while I was writing it because it's just, it just tickles me in a really sad kind of way. Number 4, 401ks and other retirement options are usually something we invest in on our own if we want them. I never used to think about retirement stuff like at all. I kind of accepted really early on in my career, like if I wanted to ever have 401k retirement stuff, I was legit gonna have to like do something crazy. Like I'm probably a paranoid little shit, but like I won't go near the actual stock market. I don't know why learning about the Great Depression when I was in high school seriously freaked me out. And I was like, how about we don't have all my money tied up in something like that? But like in general, I was like, would I have to invest in something that's like that just to have something, you know, am I ever gonna have the money for that? Like it sucks because like when people think of retirement, they usually think of 401k, which of course, like everyone knows this, it's where you are investing in a portion of the company and then the company most of the time will match some of what you have put in, if not at least fully match what you've been able to put in. So by the time you pull it all out, you actually have gotten quite a bit of money. Well, the other thing that I never had thought about, and that most places, the longer you've worked for them and the bigger of a company is, they even have things like life insurance policies. Like when my fiance, when he first got out here, he was working for a really big Fortune 500 company. And I mean, his job wasn't anything big, but like it as of a company was a Fortune 500 company. And he was like being set up for 401ks and life insurance policies and things like that. And I was just kind of like, wow, I would have to do that on my own. Like 100%, I would have to do that on my own if I ever wanted to. Which is kind of scary because like I'm still young enough, like, you know, I don't have any kids yet. I have animals, but you know, and we want kids someday, but like that's a long ways away. And so it was just kind of scary to think about like, what if something did happen and I didn't even have the opportunity to invest in that? Like I didn't have that kind of stuff to pull out, or like if I got disabled or anything like that, like I wouldn't really, sorry, I'm laughing, Astraea's making a little debut over there. You know, I wouldn't have any of that to rely on if something happened to me. So in general, like those options just don't exist in this kind of industry, which thankfully the longer it's been around, I've noticed it's definitely becoming something that more and more employers are trying to get involved with, just because like there are so many of us who, this used to be something that a lot of people would do like early on in their life, and then like once they'd get married and start having a family, they'd usually stop doing it. But like a lot of people are coming into it after they've been married, after they've had kids. Some people are even doing this as like a secondary or third type of career later on in their lives. So those are people who need benefits. Those are people who need those kind of options. And some people are solitary workers. You know, there's a lot of people in Portland I knew who were a little bit older and didn't have kids and weren't married. So they were just trying to take care of things on their own. So, you know, not everyone has a spouse's income or benefits to rely on. And that's just kind of one of those weird side effects of this industry. Okay, so moving into this next one, this one actually, like I was kind of wondering like what I should finish this up with, because I was like, I want to make sure it's like impactful, but also like not kind of ridiculously over the top. And then I realized the perfect one I wanted to finish this up with, because so many people do not get this when you are coming to someone who is an employee. Number 5, we do not receive the entire amount you pay for your sessions. We only get a percentage. I realized I was very aggressive with that, and I'm sorry. Holy crap, so many people do not know this, and it actually concerns me that people don't know this. So obviously most people, if you go to like a spa or, you know, the franchise things like Massage Envy and places like that, who doggy, you pay a shit ton of money for a massage. Like, I will be honest with you, as someone in this industry, I've been stunned at the amounts you guys are forced to pay. Because here's the secret, we get a very small percentage of that. I'm talking like this big. So to give you an example, and I'm not throwing shade on any company, by the way, I'm just using this as a personal example I went through in my career. My very first massage job, I worked for a company called Elements Therapeutic Massage. It was actually a great first time job. So I have a special place in my heart from Elements. However, clients were paying for an hour session. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember what the number was. I think it was like $85 for an hour session. You want to know what I got? I got $18 of that. That was it. I think it was like someone did the math once and they said I was getting like 15%. Like it's an extremely small percentage of that. And that was a big enough company. 100% we could have gotten more money than that. And they did try to like add in extra stuff where like, you know, you would get like extra money if someone requested you, and some places like Hand and Stone, because they do a lot of upgrade stuff, you'll get extra money for that. But the reality is like if that's your daily job, that is so goddamn hard to make a living off of, which is why places like that, we really appreciate when people tip us. And that's another thing that is really frustrating, because I know that there's been a lot of controversy lately about tipping in general. And obviously most of the things that I've read are talking about like waiters and things like that. You know, I'm still gonna tip someone if it's bad service. You know, people got bills to pay. Oh, you should teach them a lesson if they give you bad service. So here's the thing. I am somebody who definitely gets tips in my industry. I've gotten more tips in certain times, in certain places, by certain people. I've made no tips in certain places. It just kind of depends. But most of the time, the tips you guys are leaving us is like actual income for us. It's not obviously as drastic of a difference as like waiters and stuff like that. That's definitely, I think that should be illegal, how little they pay them as a minimum wage, just because it's ridiculous. But yeah, we don't make even usually a quarter of what you guys are paying off of those sessions. The only time I've ever seen that slightly leveled out is when I've worked for places that have insurance. So most massage, like when people usually think of massage, they think of like, you know, just pay cash for spa stuff, you know, whatever. There is the other side of the industry, which is the more medical side, which we do take health insurance, and, you know, we're actually like billing the health insurance directly for all the services we give you. Those ones are a little bit different because like the percentages off of those are way higher, just because of how much the insurance company is paying for the session. But that's about it. Most of the time, like I said, we're not making a whole shit ton of money off of you guys. The only time that is different, and I do want to make sure I specify this because I think this is where people get confused. If you go and get a massage, bodywork, whatever you want to call it, from someone who has their own private area, whether they're an independent contractor or they personally own the business and are just doing it by themselves, either, you know, through their own home or coming to your house, or, you know, sorry, the dog hit the stand again, coming to your house, or they're actually like set up somewhere and, you know, you booked and then you come in for the massage. That is the only time that they make the whole percentage of what you guys are paying. So like if, for instance, I did have my own private practice at one point, I was a mobile therapist and I went to people's homes, I made the whole amount. When someone paid me $75 for an hour session, I did pocket that whole $75. I mean, obviously, someone could then argue about taxes and stuff, but I mean, shit, man, like everyone's got to pay taxes, and like if you're working for yourself, yes, you do definitely get screwed. Small business tax is ridiculous, but the percentage of what you personally take home is that whole thing. It's not the same when you work as an employee. But yeah, so anyway, that was kind of my thoughts on this. I'm so sorry, guys. I was really gonna try and make this a super short video, but I got a little more into it than I was expecting. But I hope that you guys kind of learned something from this video today. And I am gonna be doing more of these videos. I'm definitely trying to get some ideas just from my personal daily interactions with people and talking to my coworkers and other people in the industry. So if you guys have any questions about this kind of stuff, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will definitely try to make videos based off of those and answer those when I can. I'm so sorry. Now my cat has decided she wanted to make an appearance. I just have too many animals. I only have 2, but they seem like they're a lot. But anyway, so and also if you guys enjoy what you see here, please click the subscribe button. If this video in general, you definitely liked it, please give it a thumbs up. In general, like I said, I really appreciate you guys, and I'm trying to get back into this. So anything that you guys notice that make these better, please let me know. And again, I'm so sorry for the lack of editing. I would totally have edited out all of the noises and shakes and My animals just won't leave me alone for these, so I guess they're gonna be part of them now. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great Friday. It is Friday afternoon when I'm filming this. I'm gonna try and get this up tonight. If not, it'll definitely be on by tomorrow morning. So anyway, thanks guys. Bye.